Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach and I don't have my phone with me. Well, I just started recording and I realized I didn't have I left my phone upstairs and it was pretty much near the end of its juice. So I'm gonna have to remember kind of when I started, and I'll have to switch back to OBS to see how long I've been recording. So anyway, I wanted to do a couple more things before I go to bed tonight and keep working on this Transpire stuff with analyzers. Again, this is kind of just a refresher for me and try out a couple of new things. As I did in the last episode, you notice that I went with the operation action. In fact, I'm going to take that off and take this one off too, because I feel like it feels pretty simplistic, pretty straightforward to do this one. So this is the one I'm going to stay with. And in fact, I'm going to take this, plop it into here, and then take that out because we don't need it. Okay, minor thing, but not that much code, and we have a diagnostic set up, analyzer, diagnostic set up so that we can find out when we're calling GUID. Now, I wanted to do a couple more tests first before I move on to the code fix. And one of them is I want to make sure I see when. Well, a couple things here. Let's first make this assert multiple. And then we will put the assert that in there. And we want to say var diagnostic is equal to diagnostics at 0. And then we want to assert that the diagnostic ID is equal to find new GUID. Whoops, this doesn't work. Find new GUID. Do I make those as internal, right? No, it's not. That's the descriptors. Okay. I don't remember if I make them internal or not. So we're going to say that. Come on. ID. We're going to check to see if the location I'm not really concerned that much about because, it's going to be somewhere. What do I do? It's going to be somewhere. That's such a weak thing. Let's go to. So I basically just see, do you have the right identifier? Do you want to have like the title? Oh, that's on the descriptor, right? And then you have an ID. Yeah. So let's actually do that. Let's say descriptor. Descriptor. And then we'll say, does the descriptor ID equal that? Does the descriptor... No. That. Is the title... Is that equal to title? What else can we assert? We just want to make sure that this has category. I think in here we have descriptor constants. I think that's the category usage. What else can we grab out of there? Default severity. Do I actually set that? Yeah, I'm glad I did this because do I want to make this a warning or an error? It's not, well, I'm going to make it an error. And the reason I want to make it an error is because in the vast majority of cases, you truly want to make a new GUID value. If you want to make a empty GUID, then there's GUID.empty, right? There's like a system.GUID.empty. Yeah, and that's the empty GUID. Okay, and you should be using that by default. So I guess that leads to a thing here at the code fix. Do you want to say, gwid.newGwid or gwid.empty. Because I think that's what you really mean one way or the other is, and you probably mean in most cases is gwid.newGwid. Okay, but maybe you wanted to create a whole new initialization of a empty gwid. Well, then use empty gwid. Okay, but anyway, I think it's an error. I don't think anybody intends to use that because that's not really what you're trying to do. Okay. No, I don't want to save this over here. I want to save over here. Okay. So that should be, what is this? No, not there. Should be this. Okay. So we'll say error there. Okay, let's just run this and make sure that that's actually doing what I think it should be doing. Which I would be surprised if it doesn't work. Okay. But you know, we've got so many things running here, I think it's going to get tired. So, okay. It failed because of course it did. So what did it fail on? Oh. Ooh. Ah. What did I do wrong here? Whoa. That was interesting. Huh. We're not getting, well, okay, we're not getting the actual error back that I thought we were going to get. So we are getting an error, but it's not the one that I wanted. Okay. So I think what I need to do here is actually create like real code using system. I'm going to say public static class test. And we're going to have a public static gwid make, which does a new gwid. Okay. Now let's see what this does. Because it should be, I think that's enough. I think the thing was that it was trying to parse text and get a compilation from it, and because it really wasn't valid code, it was kind of barking, I think. Yeah, it's still not working. Is it still the same thing? Yeah, it's an analyzer failure. Wow. Really? Well, that's just beautiful. Why would that be failing? Why would that be having a problem? I don't know. That's what we're going to find out. Okay. So I don't think we need the breakpoint here anymore. And we get here. We get a context invocation. Oh. Well, there's a location here. There's a source location of make. Okay. So we should get that. And report diagnostic has an ID which is not a valid ID. Oh. Well, that would be nice if you actually told me what the actual reported diagnostic, which is not a valid identifier. Okay. So why is that not valid? I have no idea. It's just not valid. Now, if I go look at inline mapping and I look at its, I'm just doing like 4. So could we just do like trans 1 for transpile? Let's try that. So if I say here in the test, what do we get now? I could have just said run all tests because there's only one. I did find the problem right. It just doesn't like the name of the the ID. Is it not like a dash in it? It still doesn't like it. Expected creating new grid via no argument, but was I guess that's where I should put in the thing that I'm trying to show, which is a message here. Name of that, and then I'm trying to say, I don't usually do this, and then I regret when I don't, because you definitely want to have the name of the thing that you're trying to, some description as to why the error might fail. Okay. Run it again. Let's see if it tells me this time. I mean, I think it's the title. And that'd be weird because they're both strings. So why would it? Yeah, the title. Expected creating new GUID via no argument construct. But why is it? Oh, it's a localizable string. Well, of course. ToString. What is string there? Oh, explicit operator. Oh, so you can. Okay, whatever. I guess cast it to a string or something like that. Instead of doing twos, there you go. Okay, so they all pass. Now let's do something like, so that actual code example, if I was doing like var ID is equal to new system.gwid, that was actually okay. I don't think it needed the whole thing. Let's run it now again. Let's see what it does. I can't remember. Yeah, it still works. Okay, so we don't need to be that verbose. We can just have a little piece of code in there. Okay, so now let's do the couple of other tests. Like when we're not making a GUID. So we could say here, like var ID. Well, in this case, I actually want to do an invocation. Where no GUID. So no GUID is made. How about we do where nothing is made? Okay. So here I just want to say 1 plus 2. You know, that should actually give us 0 here. Okay. And then we take that off, that, and that. So then that's becoming this method. Okay. So this should have no problem, because we only care about invocations. We're not invoking anything here. Yep. Okay, now we want to do a little more. Or I want to say, so that one we did. So this case I want to say analyze when no GUID is made. So if I say var x is equal to new string, I don't want a pointer to a char. I don't want a pointer to anything. I just want to... Okay, so I guess I just say a and then like 1, and that would be enough. Okay. So here we're going to say var ID is equal to, what did I just do there? Enough. So that is a invocation, but that should not trip our rule. That should not trip our analyzer. Should not. Cannot. Will not. And it doesn't. Okay. And then, well, we're on a roll. Let's just do all 3 of these. Right? Why not? So when it's made by new GUID, we should not. We should be able to say new system.gwid, no, system.gwid.new And that should also give us a 0. We shouldn't have any problems with that. I don't know why this is, just feels like it's crawling. Okay. Analyze when GUID is made a string. Okay, so this is invoking one of the GUID's constructors, but not. So what we want to say here, hold on, new GUID, but the site's going to give me like a whole bunch of crap. There, handy dandy code generator. So what we want to say here is new system.GUID, and we want to call the constructor, but what we want to do is, whoops, what we want to do is that. Okay, that should also be okay. And it really wouldn't matter if that was a GUID or not. We got to pass an A, and it would fail, but we're just, you don't want to be a completionist, right? Now this one, target type new, this should actually fail. And it should fail in the same way as this one, okay? So let's grab this. And that. Okay, so now what we want to say here is system GUID ID is equal to new. This should also succeed by creating a diagnostic. It does pass, and that it would have actually, I should have said this, it would have actually surprised me if it didn't pass, because that's just a compiler trick, for lack of a better term. It just means that you don't have to pass in or specify the name of the type because you've already done the left, so you don't have to do it on the right. That was a new C#9 thing, and it ends up being a object creation anyway. Okay. All right, so I think we've got all of our tests in for that side. Okay, so let me commit finish tests for analyzer. And, you know, I should be doing this in a branch, but this is just like my first thing. And usually when I'm on a project, I'm doing my first thing. I'm just trying to get it up there. Okay, so I'm good with that for now. Now we want to do a code fix. And the thing with a code fix that I wanted to look at with this analyzer is if I am doing a code fix provider, that's how I'm going to make it. So yeah, you're going to do that. And yeah, well, that's just one way to do it. I don't think you have a option to, yeah, I forgot. I'm going to have to play with it. I remember the code fix as always being a little bit more of a toughie. Okay, so what we want to do here, so we come back to my Transpire, is what I want to say is here, calling new GUID descriptor. Find new GUID. That's the analyzer. I think what I'm going to do here is just say, let's try this. Naming is hard. Okay. Code fix. Okay. So just name the class that, and then, yeah, well, we already got there. Okay. So then here we need to say, what is the name? That, what else do we have to do? Excuse me, you can tell it's kind of late. Okay, why is that? What is expert code fix provider? Code fixes. What is that in? Workspaces. Okay, and I bet I don't have that. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. You may be right. You may be crazy. No, I don't. Okay, so we're going to tidy that up just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to come here and we're going to say manage Nuget packages. Come on, jeez. Slow as molasses. Okay, so we're going to find that package. Install that. Yep, I accept. And you're good. Okay, so now we're going to say here, code fixes. Shared is another, yeah, I don't like doing it that way. What is shared? Is that system composition? Is that really what that is? Yep. Okay. And then we have to do this. Okay. So we need the fixable diagnostic IDs, which is going to be the same thing as immutable array create as the descriptor ID. There. That's done. Now register code fixes async. Oh, yeah. You know, that's always done. Get fix all provider. I don't know why. Or I get fix. And I don't know why it's got to be. It might be null. Do I have to do that? Because it's like it's going to always, in my case, be something. So, well, I guess you can say the different kind of, oh, all right, whatever. Okay, this one is where it gets tricky. Okay, because you need to get the root. Let me check my ones I did in CSLA. So, no, that's a test. I don't want the tests. I want the actual analyzers. Cofix. Yes, so you have to get the root. Okay. So I'm going to do that. There. Okay. And then I think find the type declaration identified by the diagnostic. Yeah, that's okay. So what am I getting? What am I actually putting in the analyzer? This is the context, this is the creating symbol, this is the location. Is that really what I want to do though? Well, I don't want to get the location here because that's the location of the constructor. I want to get the location of where I'm actually doing the invocation. Context dot. That's the containing symbol. Operation options. You know, okay, fine. That's the operation, but that's not enough. Syntax that was analyzed to produce the operation. I don't know exactly what I'm passing in here, so this is going to be a little tricky. I guess what I could do is let's actually look. Okay, so this won't do anything just yet. We can come over here and we can do our test. Okay, and let's just pick this one. And let's see what we're actually passing in for syntax. I guess I should do another test too that says what happens if you're if there's diagnostics associated with the code that's currently like running, if that made sense. Okay. All right, so we're here, context containing symbol, locations of 0. So the source location is source span. It's the whole thing. And that's, yeah, like I don't think context dot, that's the operation, that's the options, additional files. It's not really what I'm looking for. Yeah, I get the containing symbol, but that's not really, because that's like the containing the whole thing. I get like the name of it is the upper, yeah, because it's saying what's containing it is the top level entry, and that's not what I want. I want the actual, if I say context dot operation dot syntax, what does that give me? That gives me the object creation expression. Okay, so to string. I just want to see what it's actually. New system.quid. Okay, and that's what we actually want to replace. So I think this is actually what we want to pass in, because that's an object creation expression. Okay, so let me put that in my notes here, because I don't want to forget that, because I don't think I'm going to finish this tonight. That is a operation no, that's not a, what the hell? I can't talk. That is a object creation expression syntax. Okay. Which is like new system.quid, like that. Okay. And so that's what I think we want to be passing in there. And I want to change that into being gwid.nuGwid. So I want to change that into an invocation of gwid.nuGwid. I think I just said the same thing twice. Okay, so we're going to come in here. Let's get rid of all the breakpoints. And what we're going to say here is this should be context operation dot syntax. Okay. And you don't like that. Why don't you like that? Oh, because you need its location. Get location. You like me now? Good. So now on the code fix side, if I'm looking at the way I did with CSLA analyzers, is I want to do something like this. So I say that, system link. Okay, why don't you like the invert here? Oh, come on. And it's not there, it's here, right? Why? Oh, come on. Fine. Just shut up. And then we want a object creation expression syntax. Okay. So we got that going for us now. Okay. Now I wonder if I go back over to here to Do I ever use that anywhere? Yeah, I do. Well, so that gives me that. And then that would actually give me that. Okay, but that's not really what I'm looking for. So that gives me the object, the creation node. We'll call it that. Okay. And what we want to replace there is, yeah, that's where I get the rouse encoder. Where am I on my time? I'm pretty good. I'm actually at 32. I'm at 32 minutes. So with some editing, it'll be around 30. So I'm going to stop here. And I'm getting tired and I want to get to sleep. So I will work for my future episodes working on actually getting the code fix working so that I replace what I have for one node into this, and we shall see how that goes. So thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.